Hi, welcome to Subcreation. I'm Nathan, I'm an artist and a designer, and this channel is about creative process. So I'm going to be just drawing animals with a Sharpie, or not with a Sharpie. Previously I was drawing animals with a Sharpie. Last week I was finishing up a project where I was drawing, or I was actually creating a design for a monster based on art that was provided by an elementary school kid. So that project is wrapped up, and this week I am going back to drawing animals. I'm going to be drawing on black paper with white charcoal. But before I get into that, I'm going to do some warm-ups. So I'll show you. These are some of the warm-ups I did last time to give you an idea of what I'm going to be doing just now. So I'm going to find a number of pictures of the animal that I'm drawing first, and I'm going to, oops, sorry, knocked some water here, knocked it over a little bit. It's all right, just spilled a little bit. Anyway, I have these are the kinds of sketches I'm doing now to warm up. I'll do it in 2 passes because that's what I'm trying to practice doing is having a quick warm up with this, trying to do a drawing essentially in 2 passes and building the structure before I get into the detail. So that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, it looks like the camera's a little out of focus, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that real quick for everybody. Configure that, turn off autofocus, and get this camera focused. All right, there we go. And let's pop over to Pinterest, where I have some images that I've pulled up for reference. So I need to pick out which one of these images I want to start with. Which one of these is going to be the first one. So I have kind of a variety of animals here. This is the one I did last time, which is the panther. I'm thinking of doing the horse, but because it's kind of the same idea, sort of the head-on, it's a very sort of the same symmetry, bisometric image. I'd like to do something a little bit more asymmetric this time, and maybe an animal that has a slightly different dynamic to it. So I think maybe I'll go with the bat now. Shoot, I need to dry up this water. Hold on just 1 second while I get to the towel. Yeah, so what I'm going to do next is find a bunch of different images of not owls, but bats of this type. So I can use those as reference for the warm-up. So I'll do that right here in Pinterest. Sometimes you can just scroll down and they'll have a lot of good ones, and as it turns out, it looks like they do. So I'm going to go ahead and work with these ones. That's funny. That dog kind of resembles that bat, but it is not the same. Not the same idea. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start maybe with this guy. I've got a blue pencil here. Oh, I see I knocked over my... There we go. Okay. Gotta be careful here. All right. I'm going to switch to here, and the idea is to basically do 2 passes. Here I'm going to move this light so I'm not casting so much of a shadow. So what I'm trying to what I'm trying to do is work on. It sounds like you're having problems with buffering, Catlin. Sorry to hear that. Maybe try. I'm also restreaming on Google and on YouTube. I mean. Wonder why you're having that problem though. YouTube's working. All right. Sorry to hear about the stream problems on I could try adjusting the settings I'm streaming on again, see if that helps. But I'd have to restart the stream right now. If YouTube is working, I could look and see if they have a different like a different setting or something. Maybe it's possible it has a different amount of a different bit rate, even though I set the bit rate in the tool that's doing the streaming. All right, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. So I'm trying to force myself to use fewer strokes. So I'm trying not to do too much restating of lines and sketching. So I'm trying to treat it a little bit like the way I was doing the Sharpie sketching. Trying to indicate the important lines. In this case, I'm trying to make it have sort of the feel that I'm seeing of the fur there. Seems like this one's going to need to come up more than what I have there. So I'm trying to do a little bit of reinstatement, making corrections as I go. Just enough. This one also has some lines over here like that. Also, one of the goals of working, I work a little bit smaller in the studies, partly for speed, but also because it's an exercise in accuracy. Oh, you know what? I meant to have some music going. Let's get some music going. So part of it is an exercise in accuracy, but also I'm trying to get into a flow. So I'm trying to kind of develop a little bit of speed so that when I get into the other drawing, I've got a bit more flow. You're always a little rusty when you start drawing. It's like a little bit of a little bit of pushing through, getting used to just sort of committing to your lines. So I'm planning on doing a bit of a series of these because I was enjoying posting the other ones, the other animal drawings, the Sharpie ones that I did before. Been posting those to Instagram, so it'd be nice to have a little bit more to post. I think that's it. I kind of feel like I want to see it upside right. Yeah, interesting. All right, so that's one. I'm going to keep going. And is this the same drawing? Let me see. Yeah, that is the same drawing. They're not very good at disambiguating the drawings on Pinterest. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing sort of a series of these for a little bit. Probably just animals you have here, maybe 3 or 4. Probably not as many as the Sharpie drawings, because those are a little faster, a little looser. These are a little more time consuming. It's going to be more like 1 per stream, whereas in those ones I was doing about, oftentimes 3 to 5, and in a few cases I did maybe even like 8 or 9 of them in a stream. So this will probably be sort of a shorter series. After that, I was interested in doing some more color. I got some markers I was thinking of working with for color. But then there are also, if you've been watching this for a while, there's watching me, I guess, for a while. There's a few different topics that I cover in the stream. So drawing is just one of them. We've also done some storyboarding and 3D modeling and animation. If you were watching last week, that's what I was doing. Another one that's interesting, which takes a little bit more preparation, is coding art. I'll do art from code. One of the things I was hoping to get to here is I have a robot called Vector that I'm planning on programming. That's going to take a little bit more preparation though, because I believe it is coded in Python, if I remember right. I don't have any experience with Python, so I'll spend a little bit of time preparing for that. Could be a little crazy trying to learn a language and a new API at the same time. So those are some of the things that are going on here. And I have a chat bot that is linked down below if you're on Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, you can find me on Twitch by going to twitch.tv/subcreation with a 0 for the O. And there's a link down there. So the survey bot, as it's called, is a little chat UI that you can fire up, and it'll ask you a few questions. Let me check really quick to make sure I'm not missing anything on the chat. Oh, looks like it's the same. Okay, so I see something's wrong there because that nose is not quite meeting up with this. So I need to pull that up quite a bit. Hold on 1 second. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. Switch right back here to drawing. So I'm moving this line up here, trying to do some correction as I go. Which means some of these lines probably need to move up a little bit, and this especially needs to move up. All right. Sometimes it can be helpful to take out some of the wrong lines that remain, so I can remember what is where. Keep a little bit better track of it. Okay. We can go ahead and start selecting some of these lines. So I'm mostly working on sort of just finding the shape for it, getting kind of the placement of lines and stuff. I don't really need to practice rendering. That's what I do when I get into the full drawing. Right now I'm just trying to practice getting a sense of what the features are, of the important features of the subject, and trying to build a bit of visual memory around what they look like, understanding their detail a little bit more than I do going into it. Okay, so this line right here actually intersects right here, so I have to move that line up even more. And as I was saying before, a lot of it's just a warm-up, just getting into the flow. So if I'm going to get into the flow before drawing bats, might as well do it drawing bats. Like these stations on pretzel. I think this one might be epic. I know a lot of people they use Nightbot sometimes to DJ, but I kind of prefer these royalty-free songs that don't get muted, and also I like that they you can kind of talk over them a little bit more naturally when there aren't as many lyrics. There are some lyrics, but alright, so there we go. That's one other thing I'm planning on doing on this channel sometimes. I'm going to do a little bit of musical composition. And the music that I'm playing right now over pretzel is kind of in in the genre that I'm thinking of going for. Not exactly, but sort of this kind of thing. Actually goes a little bit further over than what I'm saying there. Let me go ahead and bring that over a bit more. All right, I think that's enough. That's the idea. Keep going through a few more, and then I'm probably going to start on. I might do a search to find a better image now, because this is kind of limited. Let's see, there's. Oops, let's pop over to here. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a search for a black bat. That is not the kind of black bat I was looking for. Let's try bat. Let's see, that's the one I'm thinking of doing pretty soon. So I should do that one probably next. Might do this one real quick, kind of like that. All right. Okay. Just a little, there we go. Let's see about the proportions there. Seems like each of those segments is about the same size, so if you kind of divide this whole thing into 3, yeah, and that'd be 1/3, third, third, and one more third. A little finger sticking out going forward like that. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Looks fairly proportional. See, this one goes down the same way, right? Like right where the finger points up, I've got that going back. So I'm working on there. Take a quick drink. All right. So I have a feeling that, let's see if my the horizontal spacing, that thing's length actually goes to the second knuckle there. That's about the distance across. So mine might be, looks like mine is a little too long actually. So let's try that again. I think it's gonna be more like this. And then this can go like that. Got a little bit of feet coming off there. But moreover, it's pretty much like that. And if that's the case, I probably need to narrow them up a bit. Which means this part here needs to come in a bit. So the overall body of the bat needs to be a little smaller is what I'm finding. Okay. So that's one of the important things. If you're going to take the time to do the sketch, you want to make sure that you're making corrections on it and not just doing the drawing twice. So, and as I go over this, so I made a little bit of correction there after I measured it and saw what was off. But I'm also going to try to make corrections now as I go. So this would be right here. Kind of interesting how you have this picture has a side angle of like a distinct profile of the bat and the bat's face. Even though it's a very isometric view of the wingspan. Really very remarkable. picture. Wonder how they were able to take it with such a bright background. Maybe it was early evening and they just have the exposure up really high. Anyway, it's really cool. Probably photographed hundreds of bats to get a shot like this. Took hundreds, maybe thousands of shots to get this one picture. Sort of similar to the drawing process of creating lots and lots of drawings to try to get to the good one. And my plan is to not necessarily post every drawing I do on my Instagram, but to do lots of drawings and then to sort of sort those and filter them to just the best. And some of those are just practice, you know. As you go, you practice. And the decisions you make as you're filtering out the images that you don't like, those really guide and influence all of the work that you do in the future, right? So oh, hi Nebrick. Nebrick back. Thanks for joining. Thanks. Yeah, I'm working on, these are a series of warm-ups that I'm doing as I get ready to do. I'm trying to get warmed up and in the right state of mind to do a more actually a black and white drawing. So I'll show you, this is what I worked on last time, the panther. And before I get into the actual white on black white charcoal drawing, I wanted to do a few different sketches of bats, both to warm up and to also to learn a little bit about the anatomy of bats. So I'm kind of trying to build build some knowledge of bat anatomy as well. Trying to draw through the subject a bit and figure out. Oh, is it? The chat is lagging, huh? Sorry about that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the Panther was a lot of fun to draw. That was my first white and black sketch on stream. I've done a fair amount of it before, but I have a bunch of different images I've selected to draw on black. So see, there's a lot more detail in here I could indicate. I'm not going to get too far into that right now. It's not necessarily the purpose of this to do all the detail, but I'm going to go ahead and indicate lightly some of it. This is part of the bat anatomy. So Nebrick, do you draw? Ah. Yeah, sorry I didn't have a lot of viewers earlier, so I was going a little quiet and not following the chat as much. Yeah, practice really does make practice perfect. It's pretty much all about practice. No matter how much you do it, it's still going to take a lot of practice. There's always more that you can learn too. There's never really a point that you get to where you don't have more that you can be developing on. So that's that one. I'm going to go ahead and pick a more. Actually, I think I'm going to do the one I'm planning on doing on the black paper next is this one. So I'm going to practice that a little bit. Let's see. Get that a little bit more on the screen. Okay. Gotta keep my screen up. So what kind of subjects do you like to draw? What are your mediums? Nebrick. Am I pronouncing your name right? Is that the reference you're saying, oh cool to? It is a pretty interesting bat here. I think it's a pretty good habit to be in drawing, to do studies. All the great masters, like painters during the pre-Raphaelites and all the like the golden era of artists. They did lots of studies for their paintings. And I'm sure it had the same effect of working as warm-ups, as well as sort of building a specific set of visual knowledge around the subject you're about to draw. Also, it's sort of like like the whole rule of like practice makes perfect, right? So if you're going to draw an image and you're going to do it just once, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to be not as good at some parts of it. But if you practice and draw that picture multiple times, you're going to get a little bit better at it each time. Like my daughter, I have a teenage daughter who's working on learning animation, and sometimes she'll do the same animation. She has this program she uses online that helps her that lets her do sort of like flipbook style animations. And I'll see that she'll try doing the same animation 2 or 3 times, and you can see in each one she's getting better and better. And that's sort of the same idea here, is that it's giving me a chance to get a little bit better with each pass at it. And I'm really taking, in this case, oh yeah, no problem. That's the sort of the idea of this channel, is it's supposed to be about creative process. So I'm trying to not just share the work that I'm doing, but I'm trying to share my process, like how I think about the art and what I'm doing as I do it. I've heard that the idea when you're streaming is that you're supposed to sort of talk the whole time and keep a conversation going. It'd be interesting to know what people think about that, because it's a little challenging to do on creative streams. Like, I wonder if creative streams might be a little different. There are some times where I just kind of have to be quiet and let my brain just settle into the image. But yeah, by doing these like sketches, the underdrawings, I'm actually altogether, so I'll be doing this same drawing altogether 4 times. Oh, thanks for the follow. That must be you, NetBrickback. Sorry, my acknowledgement isn't coming up on the screen quite right. I should fix that in case somebody else comes on. Sorry about that, though. Let me move that over there so it's more on screen. I've been meaning to redo all of my yeah, I try to keep up with the chat. I'm trying to get into the habit of it. It does take focus. That's one of the things I've been kind of going back and forth on, is whether I should try to learn how to talk more while I'm doing this, or if that's just not in the cards for drawing. But since my goal in doing this channel is I wanted to but one thing is it obligates me to create art, right? So that's one of the best benefits of it, that I have a schedule and a time I expect to be on to make art. Otherwise it just doesn't happen, or happens very infrequently. But now I have it happening every Wednesday and every Sunday at 8 o'clock. So that's, I think that line is over too far. But the other thing is I wanted to sort of use the chance to sort of describe my creative process and sort of document it for myself, and also for my kids. I have a son in college. I'd like to teach him some of the stuff, and I don't get to see him much because he's pretty busy, of course. And then my daughter too, who's very artistic, I'd like to share with her about creative process, and so she can go back and watch this anytime. She doesn't have to be right here. She has her own things going on too. So part of what I'm trying to capture about this is that, it is that principle of like practice makes perfect. And this drawing I'm actually doing, in a sense, I'm doing it, oof, my audio keeps cutting out. Can I have one working audio, please? My internet. Don't worry, it's on my end. Actually, Catlin was describing something similar, so I'm trying to watch for that. It might be that I need to take the bit rate down further on the stream. She has actually mentioned that she has a little bit more luck on the Google stream. So I'm also streaming on Google. I don't know how I would get you I could probably send you, if you're interested in trying it on Google instead. It'd be a bummer though, because the conversation happens on Twitch. So, but if you need to get a steady stream, I can post the link to that. Although I wonder if Twitch might have some rules about linking to other streams on their streams. I don't know. I don't like that, but I don't like my stream not working as well on their channel or on their platform. All right, so yeah, so what I was saying is I'm doing this drawing. Let me know if the audio keeps cutting on you, and I may need to restart the stream. I'm looking at it may actually be that it is on your end, or that the server. I have a feeling that Twitch deprioritizes these smaller streams like this. So I need to get this pencil up here. But I could probably help it by reducing the bitrate again. I did it once before, and it seemed to help a little bit. At least that's what I heard. But yeah, so part of the idea here, so like by doing the underdrawing, the structure finding drawing first in blue and then going over it again, and then of course when I go to do my next drawing, the one that's going to be on black, I'll also do that one. This eye's looking a little too small. So I may go ahead and I'm going to adjust this. Okay, go ahead and extend that a little bit. I think that was I think that eye is a little smaller than this one, but I think I exaggerated it. That one's slightly smaller than that one, but not by that much. I mean, it looks smaller at this angle. Obviously, the eyes are the same size, but because of the way that the head is turned, this eye we're seeing sort of square on, and this one we're seeing at a bit of an angle, which makes it look foreshortened a little bit. So yeah, when I go to do the drawing on black, I'm gonna with white, I'm gonna do another underdrawing there, and so altogether I've drawn this thing 4 times. I'll be warmed up with, I did 4 drawings altogether before this too, so that practice hopefully will add up, and by the last one we'll have the best drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and post a question really quick. Anyone else having problems with the stream? Yeah, actually I do like the Dark Knight series. Of all of the Batmans, I think that the Tim Burton one is actually my favorite, but the Dark Knight series is good. It's pretty quality. It didn't fall off the way the all the Batmans after the 2 Tim Burton ones I thought were just perfect, and then after that it kind of went off the cliff for a bit. But I think that they rescued it with Chris Nolan's work. I'm actually a huge fan of Chris Nolan and what's his brother's name? I think the movies that they do together, the brothers, those are by far the best. All right, I'm putting a little bit too much time into this. I should probably hurry this up. This is just a warm-up. Although it can be important to remember that a big part of drawing is just putting in the time. One of my favorite creative Twitch streamers on here that I really enjoy watching is Kitslam. He does these color pencils, and right now he's actually doing the same thing that I'm working on, which is drawing on black. He's doing color pencil on black. But what makes me think of him when I'm bringing him up is because he really just puts a ton of time into his drawings. You can really see how it pays off. When I started the series of animals that I was drawing, which was, I actually started out doing whiteboard drawings, but I only had a few whiteboards here, and so I ended up having to kind of constantly erase them. So it was kind of annoying having to do that on stream. But then after that, I switched to drawing with Sharpie on paper. And at first I was doing just Sharpie. So it was, an idea was to kind of go fast and to force myself to commit to lines. It was sort of a speed exercise I was doing. But the thing that I found, of course, was the more that I did that, the more I pushed myself to go fast, the less that I liked the outcome, right? The best drawings really take an investment of time and thought, making corrections. And so when I was initially drawing really fast and not correcting anything, obviously the drawings aren't going to turn out as good, even though I'm still learning and growing by doing it. And that's why I'm trying to do these warm-ups as a part of the process. But that looks like we might have lost Nebrick back. Probably is frustrating to watch this with the audio cutting a lot. I may go ahead and cut and restart the stream if people are having that problem with it, because I think I could bring the stream down a lot more. Yeah, so it really is, a lot of it is about, the more time you put into the drawing and the more careful you are about where you put your lines, you're gonna come up with a cleaner, more impressive outcome. But on the other hand, part of the practice of drawing is getting to a place where you kind of have a lot of flow and you can kind of get the drawing out, have kind of a more inspired session, and not to just like sometimes I kind of liken it to when you're doing a really detailed drawing, I'd kind of liken it to like cleaning your room. There's certain details that you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do all that. But if you just jump in and get started and you just kind of lose yourself in the task, you'll be done with it before you know. And then of course you have the benefits of that work in front of you. See, I kind of forgot to indicate this part here, this like tuft that's going on the side there. It's kind of blurry too, so I'm not totally sure of the details there. I think it's just a tuft of fur there. Yeah. That's one thing I try to do as I'm working on is, identify what it is that I'm drawing. There's a bit of a balance to that, right? Like as you're drawing, sometimes you're trying to forget what it is and see it anew and draw it like you've never seen it before. And then sometimes you're kind of trying to understand the structure and present, anatomy that you know. So you're trying to commit it to memory. And anytime I'm drawing, I'm actually trying somewhat to do those activities simultaneously. I'm trying to draw what I know as I understand it, and I'm also trying to see it fresh. And so that's sort of the process of sort of informing my visual Rolodex. All right, so I think that's pretty good. I've got a little more detail. I think I'll go ahead and touch on here in the ear. I hear one saying if